Hey, I'm Mitchell Smith, and today I'm going to be presenting my segment of the Indigenizing Space and Place project. I'm going to put my assignment on YouTube because Culture has been down this last couple days, and me and my group mates have made a playlist that we're going to present. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first location I've chosen is Keats Island and the neighboring town of Gibsons. It's only several kilometers away across a very short bay. So, Keats Island is important to me personally because after the First World War, my grandfather bought the land from a logger and he put up a cabin there. So, over 100 years later, my family and our friends still use it, and we perform many activities such as kayaking, hiking, swimming, socializing with the nearby provincial park, and generally just loafing around. Keats Island is on Squamish territory, Squamish land. So, according to the Statistics Canada 2016 census, there are 290 First Nations people living on Gibsons and 235 Métis people. The total population of Gibsons is 9,132. The Wikipedia has the number wrong, by the way. So, Squamish is my second location, and it's important to me because it's been a stop on almost every hiking, kayaking, camping, or otherwise outdoor activity trip that I've ever been on since I was a small child. And special mention within Squamish, the township, goes to any particular fast food place there, but especially the Tim Hortons, which I've eaten at so many times, it's probably not even funny. Well, the town of Squamish is named after the Squamish Nation and is on Squamish land, as you may be able to imagine. According to Statistics Canada and their 2016 census, there are 1,155 Indigenous people living in Squamish out of a population of 17,587. So here's a map, and this is interesting. So that is Squamish, and that's Gibsons, that's Keats Island. So as you can see, there is a boat route that me and my family have taken on numerous occasions. And interestingly enough, just off of Keats Island, there is a tiny island that is also a Indian reserve. It is known as Indian Reserve 27. That's interesting. Never knew that until I did research for this. You can cut that. So, the Squamish Nation is the traditional lands of both of those locations. So, from the Squamish Nation website, we have some detail about them. They are the descendants of the Coast Salish Aboriginal peoples who lived on the present-day Greater Vancouver area, Gibsons Landing, and Squamish River watershed. The Squamish Nation has governed and occupied their territory since beyond recorded history. That's a while. From the Squamish Nation Strategic Plan, which is a document they've written outlining their aims and goals for the years 2020 to 2023, I really recommend you look at it, actually, it's cool. With over 4,100 members, the Squamish Nation is one of the largest First Nations in British Columbia. The Squamish people live on one of the 9 communities stretching from North Vancouver to the northern area of Howe Sound. So, some more detail about the Squamish Nation is they have 6 values that they posted on their mission plan, and the first of which is the value of community. So some synonyms and maybe principles they have up there would be nation, village, community, people. The second would be collective. So Indigenous person, human beings, human people. Pride, so advice, teaching, upbringing, instructions, ways, fashion, manners, all very important cultural cornerstones. Empowerment, which is treating people with respect, believing them, just respect in general, and honor. We have leadership, or they have leadership, which is their area, they're belonging to a Siam, like a council. Responsibilities related to the role of a leader. Their culture, which is advice, teachings, and their cultural knowledge. So these are all very important aspects of a culture. So in terms of government, the Squamish Nation is governed by a council of 8 members, not including some speakers and representatives who are important, but they act besides the core 8. So they are elected in elections, and the people who can vote are any member of the Squamish Nation who's 18 years or older. The election and referendum laws of the Squamish Nation were recently updated in 2018 after having been originally put in place in 1981 and not changed since. The recent changes include a ban on corporate or union donations in elections campaigns in order to discourage corruption. The current chief of the Squamish Nation is Ian Campbell, and you can look at their elections law on their website. It's very in-depth, it's very interesting. Thanks. Is or isn't the Squamish Nation under a treaty? At the moment, no, they're not actually. From the Squamish Nation website, they've written that in 1993, they began doing negotiations, and it's a 6-part process, and they're currently on stage 3. So the late Squamish chief Joe Mathias, sorry if I mispronounced it, described the pace of these negotiations as glacial. My thoughts on this are that it's good that a negotiation's happening, seems necessary. At the same time, the glacial pace is ridiculous. 1993, when they started, was 28 years ago. That number is only going to go up. So, talking about how they were working on revitalizing their culture, one of the services that the Squamish Nation can use is the KAS organization. They're a non-profit, and they aim to develop and teach Squamish art and culture. And they're currently working with Simon Fraser University on a diploma program for fluency in the Squamish language. So that's important because the Squamish Nation website describes the language as being critically endangered. And here we have their logo and some traditional artwork. The second service, and this is one that's aimed more at the Squamish, like the town, is the Indigenous Youth Ambassador Program, which is hosted by the Squamish Lilwat Cultural Center. So this is up near Whistler. And this follows the Government of Canada's Youth Employment and Skills Strategy, and it aims to help Indigenous youth obtain important work experience, cultural identity, and several useful certifications, such as serving it right. So it's like a bridge to help them work in many jobs. So here we have some works that I've cited. I'll hover here in case you want to pause and read it. And that's all, folks. Well, I hope you've had a very nice day, and I hope you've learned something. I hope you all get out and definitely try to survive this heat. Thanks. Nice anime screensaver.